All right. Well, very excited to have you all joining us today for the virtual farm tour and mentorship networking event. We have our expert farmer with us today who's going to be guiding us on his farm, Mr. Lester, the host. We're going to visit his citrus groves, and before we get into the tour portion, just want to acknowledge our thanks to the USDA for providing support and enabling us to do this farm tour today. The event supported through the USDA's Transition to Organic Partnership Program. TOPP is a program of the USDA Organic Transition Initiative and is
Mm.
ministered by the USDA AMS National Organic Program. If you'd like to learn more about TOPP, we have a number of programmatic areas that we're able to offer support. One of those, of course, is mentorship, and technical assistance is another. We have a link and a QR code that you can visit to learn more about TOPP. And resources. There are a number of resources that you can find on that website. And definitely reach out to us here at Florida Organic Growers if you have any questions, need support with technical assistance or mentorship. And with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen so that we can see Lester. And on the call today, you may hear from myself, Kindra. You may hear from Adriana and or Sebastian. We have also Connie and Chanel. So a great number of us from the FOG team here to support and provide any information on questions. Lester, thank you again for joining us. And with that, I will turn to you to take us on a tour of your farm.
Guy, I've been farming a long time. 1981 bought this place. And so I'm located on the Mississippi River, and I'm going to just give you a view of the front of my farm. And so you can see the Mississippi River levee right here. This is the front of my house, and you can see the ships along the river. And so this is Mississippi River here. And I'm gonna scan around, and you'll see this is my farm right here. These pecan trees, little pecan orchard in the front, and home. And so I'm heading down the levee now, going to the farm. So I've been in this business now since 1981. It's not my full time at all along, but now that I'm retired, it's full time. So I worked at a refinery for many years in chemistry. And so, but I never went to school for chemistry. I went to school for fish farming. I didn't do any fish farming now. So that's my house. And I'm jumping in my golf cart right now and just going to take everybody through the farm. And guys really blessed me. Farm's been really good. We started off conventional. And so I was working for Chevron. And I had gone to Chevron and I said, hey, you guys, listen, we were hurting at the time. I was in the lube ball business. And so I said, we could probably start selling glyphosate or Roundup. And they said, "Oh man, Lester, we don't want to go that way because it causes leukemia. We know for sure." And I said, "Well, in that case, forget it." But I thought to myself, I need to get away from this myself. And so that was around in the mid '90s, and by '97, I became certified organic. And so. And mostly we sell citrus. We just started doing a few vegetables because we're having a hard time with citrus growth, but citrus has been our main bread and butter on the farm. So since '97, we probably sold a little more than 2 million pounds of certified organic citrus. And so it's paid for my children to go to school, college, and bought them vehicles to school and many vacations for us. So it's been a good business for us, and God really blessed us. And so I'm going to turn it around and show you. This is my little research patch right here. Mostly lemons. There's a few other things in here. And the packing shed is in the back. The house is over here. And you can see these are mostly lemons. And some of these trees are old trees. Oh, I'm a driver. I'm in my golf cart right now. Look at this. I bought these. This is loquats, and I bought these trees out of Florida. And I spent a bunch of money for them. The grafted trees. Can't I love loquats, but I hope to actually be able to plant a whole bunch of them. So this is my beginning of a new crop I'm trying. And I have the cloths over them because deer will eat those leaves in a minute, and so will rabbits. And so I'm running over here. Now these trees are about 35 years old. And so they're on different root stocks. And so you can see they're in poor condition. And we had a terrible freeze last year. It basically put us out of business. And so that 25 blizzard, we had snow that was a foot deep. We never seen anything like that in my lifetime. And it may have been record. And so, but the greening is really affecting us. So you can see those bags are on the trees, and that stops the psyllid from getting to the tree and transferring the disease. And so you see on the side of these trees, like I'm gonna come close to you, you can see this tree. It's no good. It's not ever gonna. It's barely surviving. So you can see I have a rootstock right here, and I grafted it already, and and so it's going to be a new lemon. This rootstock is much hardier than this particular variety of lemon, and I'll graft it. And this is my fertilizer, and you can see I have irrigation on these. Now, irrigation's hard for us to get because of water. We have to use city water, and so in here, um, we had a lot of trees at one time, 1,650 trees. Large trees, and but most of that's gone. This is from the greening. Most of the orchards now down here are already dead, and so this is my movable chicken coop right here, and so I'm hoping to move that in between the rows to improve my soil. So I'm heading down right now. This is I'm gonna run over here for a second. Let me go down this way. So this is we planted persimmons a few years ago. And you can see this is the persimmon orchard. We have about 300 persimmon trees, and basically they're loaded this year. You can see I also have, I'm going to stop and show you, I have a hoop house right here, and that's planted with cucumbers and tomatoes. I have to stake them inside the house. Thought about hanging netting from the ceiling. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I did buy the netting, but I haven't done it yet. And you can see some row crops. And so I have a couple of tractors, but I use a tiller behind with a shaper behind it that I built out of wood. I'll walk over and just show it to you because it might help you guys. And man, it makes such a nice row and so fast. If this row is planted with zucchini and I wanted to get rid of it, I just till right over it. I pull the irrigation out and till over it. So you can see there's some. I just put some okra down and some basil next to it. There's a bit of deer in here. You can see his tracks. He's nipping at my basil and my okra. So I'll probably get some cayenne pepper and spray it with cayenne pepper. That usually works pretty good. So we sold a lot of persimmons in the last few years, but it's a tough one to sell. It's not as easy to sell as citrus. And I don't know if I would. I have 300 trees. I'm not going to go any more than that. And I'm gonna run over here and give you this couple of different varieties in here. I also collect varieties of persimmons, and so and you can see like I have a problem with them. They'll get corky stems, corky roots. And then you'll see, and it'll grow from the side. You can look at that persimmon tree. You can see I've got a tape on there. It's cracking and it'll sprout up again. And I don't really lose the tree if I have a problem with it. And then sometimes, time where I'm passing over was all satsumas, all mandarins. And, and now as I cross in, this was Naples. This is my compost right here. So I get I get about 1,000 yards of compost. Of course, you have to follow the organic rules. You have to record the temperature, and so I follow. And so I use that along my trees. I'm going to stop right here and just show you a persimmon tree, just so you get to see the flowers on here, like get real close. Like, can you see that? You see all of these little green flowers and look, most of these are going to stay on a tree. This thing is going to load up with persimmons this year. And I really pruned this tree. I put a whole lot of pruning on it. And you can see it's loaded all around the tree. And so pretty nice. It's not my favorite variety, but it's delicious. But not my favorite. Me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So I'm gonna just show you where I was. This is what I was in the persimmon orchard, and it goes back further. But I really like to show you the field behind me, and well, the fields behind me. Not the whole farm, but at least some of the fields. Same with citrus. Controlling grass, always a big problem. Can't use things that are easy that are chemicals. And so, although I can use vinegar and I can use a fatty acid that's produced by Certus, and both of those have their place, and they're both allowed as organic farming. But you have to get the right ones. High Point is what Certus has, and it does work. And matter of fact, it doesn't work on certain grasses, but on some things like brambles, it's really effective. Vinegar works really good on grasses. Both of them have to be applied in the middle of the day when it's hot and there's not much wind, and of course, and it's definitely dry. But they do work. I don't really use them too much. I use mechanical means to control the grass, but I may be switching up because I'm switching up the style of farming. I may be using a little bit more of those two herbicides. And so, big problem with these persimmons, everybody eats them. Deer, raccoons, and possums, man, it's a problem. Birds, you name it. I'll probably lose half the crop to those guys. So, always looking for a better way to keep those out. And so, one of the things I'm going to try to do this year is I'm going to try to get a dog with a couple of animals that I can move through my orchard. And, I'm going to probably follow that 90, 120-day rule that's required. And although I don't think it's going to be a problem, it's not, it's going to be moved every day. And I'm thinking about trying that. And at least the dog for sure. But so anyway, so you see my compost pile, you've seen that already. All of it was navel trees at one time. And so there was 500 navel trees in this section. And in the back, I don't know if you can see it or not. That's the remainder of the field. The freeze, they were dying from the greening disease and some canker, but mostly was greening, and so they had died out. Now right here, I'm gonna work this ground. I already made a pass on it, but I'm gonna be hilling it up and putting it in the rows. So I'm gonna put 4 rows of peaches in, and I have those up by the greenhouse. And I have a citrus nursery, and we have about 750 plants right now that we're grafting and growing, and we're going to probably increase that to, a pretty good bit, because we need to replant the orchard. So we're trying to get some varieties that are resistant to greening, and so working on that here. It's hard for me to bring over Florida citrus, which has some wonderful resistant varieties, and those guys have done a great job bringing new varieties on the market for us. But like I said, it's a little hard, but we have a wonderful county agent here who is trying to make that possible. And we have a great ag commissioner. I believe he will get it for us. And he's already opened the door for us to get some of those new varieties. So greening, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but what it does is the psyllid, transferred from the psyllid, and basically plugs up the phloem and the xylem streams in the tree. Then you can see the freeze did most of this damage because the trees weren't in that bad of shape. And so this is what's left of the orchard. I'm going to knock this out soon. And I have one tree in here, though, that is not being affected by green. And I don't know if God's given me a blessing there where I can use that for budwood. It's got a full crop on it. And so anyway, I'm going to pass you're on there. I'm going out of this field. I have another I use some water, and also I raise crawfish, but I don't raise them. It's just crawfish we want out of this pond. Usually loaded with alligators, but it's cool today, so you don't see any. One day, my wife was driving the golf cart back here, and there was a huge alligator covered across the road after she had passed the pond, and she was trying to figure out how she was going to get back home. Oh,
Hey, Lester, can I ask you a question?
yes, sir.
So, Jesse Bowie was intrigued by all the blossoms on your fruit trees and was curious about whether what the state of your pollinators is there.
So, Uh, we have a lot of wild pollinators here, but the bees here, there's a lot of honeybees. See, at one time, I know what he's talking about. At one time, at one time we had very few bees. I mean, when I was young, you would go when the navels were blooming, I could walk through the orchard and it sounded like a plane in there. It was so loud. There was so many honeybees. And then a few years later, when that mite moved in, there were no bees in there, no honeybees at all. Now, citrus trees, of course, don't require pollination. Most of the one varieties I grow. And so that wasn't a problem. But for persimmons, of course, there's probably some pollination needed. But we have a lot of bees again. Honeybees are back, not to the level they were. But we have a lot of wild bees, especially those big bumblebees. There's a lot of those around. And so we don't have a problem with pollination here. And so you can see right in front of me, I'm putting in, I hope that answers your question, Jesse. Um, you can see I just did this yesterday. I'm putting in some blackberries right here. And back here, and just like in most of the places on my farm, it's loaded with deer, and so I put these blackberries in these defenders and to keep the deer off of them because, man, they eat everything. You can see I have different types of bags. This was all a lemon orchard at one time, all dead, almost dead. This was what's left of it. And then not much there. I'm thinking about pulling all that up. And so I'm going to put a row of blackberries in here. And so you can see we already got the irrigation laid out and we got the row up and we just got to plant the rest of them. But we don't even leave them overnight because I don't want to lose half of the blackberry bush to the deer. And so you can see these are really nice. And they have berries on them already. Got them from a friend of mine. I've been knowing him for many years. And he's a nursery man, produces great nursery trees. This was a big orchard at one time. I mean, we picked so much fruit out of here, it was unbelievable. But now it's not much. And you can see a lot of dead trees in here. These trees are probably 30 years old, at least 25, most of them. But a lot of them 30 years old. And so, and you look at this. Now, greening killed this disease, just tree, but the freeze took it out, but greening killed it. And I'll be knocking it over my tract. I'll let the roots rot to make it easy and cheap for me to get it out. Survived. I got a few of them that survived this freeze. Why they survived, that's a good question. And I believe I have a couple of them that are resistant to the greening. I'm gonna come up close so you can look at the blot. You can see the satsumas on here.
Hey,
And
Lester, hang out by that tree because we're starting to lose your connection. So just stand still for a little bit. You can keep talking, but I don't want to lose you.
okay, so I'm gonna. I don't know if you can see it, the sun, but there's a few
Yeah.
satsuma trees. They're loaded. They're really loaded with fruit that survived the freeze and the greening. And I think God might have blessed me with a satsuma that's resistant to greening. It's further back, and oh, you can see some. So that's really, I'm thankful for that. You can see these grapefruit trees in here. This was a row of grapefruit. And so we sold a lot of grapefruit. They would probably produce 10, 12 boxes to the tree. And you can see most of them are dead. There's one that's alive right here, but you can see these are dead. And so I'm going to replace those. But Florida now has a new variety of grapefruit. I really want that new variety resistant to greening. real sweet, and it also doesn't have the chemical in it that stops people who are on those certain drugs they can't mix grapefruit with the drugs, and so it doesn't have that chemical in it. So another plus, and so
Can you
we.
describe the Satsuma orange for us, Lester? Because I don't know that everybody knows that variety, but it's such a unique fruit and delicious. And
So, Satsuma is a mandarin.
yeah,
And so, there's a lot of mandarins out there. And so, Florida's got some new ones and what you want out of a mandarin, something that peels easy, and you don't want the peel to stick to the skin, and you definitely don't want it to leak all over you while you're peeling it. And even better if you can get a bricks of around at least 15, 17, even better. And if you have no seeds. Now, I'm asking for the world there. Satsumas have very few seeds. They are kid gloves. They peel real easy. They don't you don't break the segments when you're peeling them, and very sweet. And so it's great for us. It's a wonderful tree. You're not going to grow this in South Florida. It requires some chill hours, and you don't have enough. Of course, Georgia, and it's growing them also now. And so this is a one. Look at this tree survived. We had 18 degrees, and it was frozen for a week here, and this tree survived that. But this is not my number one pick for a budwood, although it's loaded right now. I'm just not sure that what's the reason it survived, but it's going to have a nice. Now, this tree, half of it's gone. Look, I'm going to pass back a little bit. And you see the trunk. This tree was probably, 20 feet in diameter. And I probably would pick on a good year, I might pick 15 boxes of satsumas from it. And just to give you an idea, I have a tree about a house. It's almost dead now, but at one time, we put 5-gallon buckets next to the tree, and we picked that whole tree. We hadn't touched it, and we picked 21 5-gallon buckets of Hamplins on it. And so, in most years, we would pick close to that. Now it's dead from the greening, no, almost dead. And so, a big change. And so now, same problems I'm having back here. I have problems with insects, animals, and but basically, the greening is the worst. And
Lester, how much
so I
acreage do you
control,
have
you
in
can see
total
I have
there?
35. And so,
35.
but I'm not going to plant that much back. My kids are grown, and I'm in the grandpa stage, and I really like that. And so I'm going to plant less of an orchard now. But I am diversifying because I really like doing this and I'm having fun. And so just to give you an idea what I'll do for control of grass, and I hope that we can share each other. We can get some type of email thing where we can all link together, and we can send emails to one another. Who's ever listening, I'm talking about, because there's probably better ways to do it than I'm doing it. And so I like to come along here and I'll till on both sides of this. And the only reason I haven't done it is because it was raining and it's now dry. And so I'm gonna come and till this out, and then I'm gonna plant this whole row. I had to move some trees out of my greenhouse, and that's why I put these little trees out here. But that's not a good idea. I found, keeping that's too hard to fool with these little trees in the orchard. I'm gonna just have to build another greenhouse and stick them in a greenhouse to grow them to the good sized tree. I'm gonna turn around, and so you can see a lot of trunks in here that some of the stuff's been pulled out, but there's some big ones that I haven't yet. I'm letting them die enough to where I can push them over with my front end loader. And so I don't have a big tractor. I mean, so but it doesn't take much to push them over once they rot. Now I've got different types of bags covering my trees. The best is that Defender with the skirt. That's the absolute best. Doing some research up in Birmingham about how to make my trees more cold hardy. My oldest son is up there, and my daughter-in-law is doing it for me. And so we survived 15 degrees with some young trees that are not that cold hardy, and we feel like we're making progress. We'll continue that this year. So always looking for better ways. I'd like to go further back and show you some satsuma trees that are just unbelievable, but I'm afraid I'll lose connection. So I'm going to head back to the front. the front of my farm. I don't know how much time we have left on this, if I'll make it back to the front or not. Do y'all have any questions for me?
If anyone feels free to feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can write a question in the chat. We've got one question here, Lester, from Debbie Hamby. She asks you to tell more about using city water and organic farming certification. Can you talk to us about what your certifier makes you do?
Yeah, so I don't have any issues with that. I do use city water for irrigation. No, so I don't have a problem with that. I know there's some restrictions about chlorine, but they never go. Oh, the chlorine is never more than 4 parts per million chlorine available in city water. So we also use city water to wash our fruit, and so we have to check to make sure. We have to prove that there's not more than 4 parts per million. You can buy a test kit, and you can just show it. Now I don't have to do it every time. I only have to do it once, but I do have to prove that I wash my citrus. The state law requires, a federal law requires, I believe, that you have to wash it before you sell it. And how do we have to do that? I'll show you my pond again. You can see I'm clearing the bank. Too many alligators and snakes hiding here. But that's a good question. But so my answer is that I don't have a problem with it, and that's working out good for me. Well water is tough for us down here, hard to get because it's hard to get a good well, and that brings up fresh water. If you get real deep, you get salt water. Next question.
Anyone else have questions for Lester?
So
How,
it's kind of
how,
embarrassing. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say?
well, I was going to ask Lester, how far from the ocean are you there?
Uh, you know, uh, when a hurricane comes, we're right next to it, and sometimes it's right here on the farm. But actually, the Gulf is behind me. Where I'm headed away from it right now, but behind me is if you go up 3 miles and you'll be in some small lakes, and from there it goes into the Gulf. And so either I head to the east or I head to the south, I'm going to be in the Gulf either way. But if I head to the south, it's all the way down to Venice, really, or well, before you get to the ocean. And so that's a good ways down. That's quite a few miles. But the water, salt water, is not far from my property. And so that's the problem we have. Sometimes that salt water comes up this way. So I would love to chat though with people and ask them how do they maintain their trees and their plants from for weed control and certain insect control. So it's a nice way to share and help each other out.
I'm sure there are some farmers on this conversation who have to deal with weed control, that's for sure. Richard Martinez says he's struggling with aphids right now, and in a couple of months, he'll start fighting Japanese beetles, and he wants to know what's a good organic way to get rid of, of them. And he says he sprays the aphids off with water and wipes them with his hands, but there's only so much he can do.
So listen, I'm sorry that plane blocked out what you were saying, and I
Oh,
could
sure.
you just say some of that again?
Yeah. Richard, do you want to pop in and ask, or you want me to keep going?
Can you hear me?
Sure.
Hey, Lester. Right now, what
Hi,
we're
Richard.
suffering with, good morning, sir. Here in Georgia, what we're struggling with right now, or at least I'm struggling with, is an infestation of aphids. Most of the time, what I do is I wipe them off with my hands or I spray them with water, get them off the plants. In a couple months, I'm going to start fighting Japanese beetles on the peach trees. Um, what's a good way, a good organic way to get rid of the aphids and or the Japanese beetles?
And so So I'm dealing with that same problem with aphids, and soon I'll be dealing with on these persimmons. They look great now, but soon we'll have worms moving in, and so a couple of different things. Interest is expensive. It's banana. It's a spanad. It's see if I pronounce it right, spinosad, but it works. Okay, pyrethium works, and so, but if you're going to use pyrethium, you have to use it and pretty much right before dark, so there's no UV light, so it'll last through the night. It does work, and so, but if you're in a hoop house like the hoop house I have over here, I'm going to screen the bottoms right now because I can't keep out plant bugs and stink bugs, and they destroy those tomatoes I have in there, and they also destroy the cucumbers I have, but pickle worms get in there. And so those two chemicals work pretty good, and they do maintain them, but they won't kill stink bugs and they won't kill plant bugs. Those you have to have mechanical means organically. At least I don't have a way to do it. And listen, I spent a lot of time researching. I'm pretty close right now to having a mixture that does help, but it is not going to ever be as good as mechanical means on that. As far as now, if you're outside, I'll tell you. I last 2 years I bought these wasps called trichogramma, and that has worked fabulous on reducing the population of caterpillars and anything that lays eggs. And so I get a mixture of them and let them once a month go. And man, the population of insects is unbelievably reduced. So now let me go back to you. Let me go to you. Inside my greenhouse, I'm having a problems with aphids and mealy bugs, and it's always an ongoing problem. I planted a solemn in there, and I have it in a container, along with all the other containers.
Mhm.
I'm bringing some. I'll bring in some predators. Lace wings will probably be my first buy, and I'll release those in there. And ladybugs are cheaper though, and I'll probably release some ladybugs in there. And you have to have a little something for them to drink, some provide an area. The nursery's not that big, so I don't need many ladybugs. And so on the outside on those peaches, though, if this was me, this is what I would do. I'm going to do this on my persimmons and on my citrus trees. I'm going to spray surround on them. And that's surround, that's the clay. Oh, I'll be putting that down. I'll be spraying them with that when the wind's not up like it is, when it's really still. And I'll mix it with new film peat. New film peat is a spreader sticker. Both are allowed for organic use. And so I'll put that on, and when the rain starts washing it off, I'll apply it again. And that will help you out a great deal. Now, listen, don't mix an oil with that surround. If you do, it'll discolor your fruit. And so, but you can mix like you can mix soap with it, and you could mix other things, but no oils. Nothing that has an oil. Don't mix neat oil and spray it with the surround at the same time. Your fruit will come out looking terrible. And so,
Soap like Castile soap?
no, yeah, you can use that with the surround because you got to have a spreader sticker. I'll use the new film tea. I'll use now my favorite soap is Desex made by Certus. And so that's my favorite. I don't know. There's a lot of soap. Soap, let's face it, soap is soap. I mean, I did a lot of work with producing a soap, in organic chemistry. And there's only two different types. There's potassiums, and then which are all liquids, and sodiums, which are hard. And in the case of the stuff that we're using, most of them are liquid. But I like the Certus. That soap also will keep ears off your trees. I mean, they won't touch it with the soap on there, but of course, the first rain, it's gone. You have to reapply. But you could mix it with the surround, and you could put new film P in there, follow directions, and I think you'll keep the beetles off and a lot of other things off. You'd keep the stink bugs off to a point, and but that'll work. That's where I would go, though. I hope that helps you.
Yes, sir. Thank you much.
Yes, sir. And look, I'm fixing to plant some peaches. I'm going to rod up and show you the peaches that I have. I have them growing in containers. I bought them bare root, and so I'm growing them out. And I'll eventually put them in the orchard. Now, I probably won't produce any peaches for a while. And as soon as I can, I'll put them on my organic program. But so this is my peaches right here. You can see them. And so they're growing out right now. And I'll wait for the peaches to completely fill up the containers, the roots. And then I'll start putting them out. I'm going to put 80 out this year. And I've checked they're already grown through the roots and they haven't been in these containers that long. So anyway, it's my next crop. And I'll probably have the same problem you have. However, I have peach trees in the back, and the biggest problem I have is deer and raccoons and possum eating peaches. But I only have a few back there, but we do produce some nice peaches down here. So, and then you have another question?
Negative, sir.
Okay. Anyway, so keep up with me on that. Text me and let me know how you're doing. You can see this is my nursery in front of me, and I have another setup nursery on to the side. But
Hey Lester, so
yeah.
are you saying it's okay for us to share your email with the other farmers on the call?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, and so if anybody wants Lester's contact information, I heard Richard, but if you want, just reach out to me. I'm Sebastian at foginfo.org, and I'll connect you with Lester.
So, any other questions? Because I'm finished my tour.
Anyone out there who hasn't shared a question? Connie wants to know if she can peek inside the greenhouse.
Okay, Connie. So I have this cloth on here. Is what we use to this 50 micron to keep the psyllids out. I haven't had any problems with them getting in. And so you can see in here. This is the trees, and so you can see the ones in the back. I want to raise them to that size before I put them out. But I'm running out of space and I'm running out of time. I want to get the orchard planted by the summertime. And so I'd like to get 750 trees in the orchard. So this is rootstock. This is my own rootstock. I have my own seed and I sprout them. This is one of my favorites. I have a cold hardy one in the back. And then you can see I put the rootstocks in, and since I'm organic, I can't use herbicide to keep the grass out. Most citrus trees use herbicide. I just use mulch, and I get this when they cut the levee, and so and I use different ones, but it works. And so for fertilizer, I was using chicken manure at the pellets. It's been steamed and pelleted chicken manure from a hoop house, I mean, from a chicken coop. And, that works great and the price is good. And you look at the price per pound of nitrogen. That's what I always look at when I'm buying a fertilizer. I don't think I can find one cheaper, but if you guys know of one, I appreciate y'all letting me know.
You
And
just got to
so
raise some animals, Lester.
you're right, I do. And so I'm working on that now. And I have a good friend that raises rabbits, and I just got rabbit manure put on my certification. And so you know how that works with my certifier. And I can't just use the rabbit manure. I had to get an approval for him. And boy, I already know what he's going to ask for. He's going to say, hey, I need a letter from this person that says that they don't apply anything to it. It's just rabbit manure and hay, and that's it. And so they don't add anything to it. So that person gave me a letter stating that, and I used that, And so I don't know how the rabbit manure is going to work. I like the chicken manure, but you can see my house in the background, and my wife has a nose like a Labrador Retriever. And man, if I use chicken manure in here, I mean, I'm going to get some serious complaints. So I have to switch over. So I put Nature Safe on my certification. And I have another farm friend who's up in Mississippi who buys it by the ton and gets a fairly good price. And when you calculate the price that we're paying per pound of nitrogen, it's very high. I don't think it's a good deal, but I have to do something other than chicken manure, which is probably the cheapest. And even that's not cheap these days. So it's not really cheap fertilizers, but if you guys have some suggestions, I
What
sure would
what
like.
about grinding up some peanuts?
I never tried it, and I don't know if I could do that. I thought about cottonseed meal, and I don't know where to get it yet. But I visited a organic class in Lafayette, and there was people there that were trying to become organic, and they were using cottonseed meal on their turmeric, and that seemed to be working pretty good. And the price was also pretty good. But when you calculate price per pound, I mean, I think my last calculation on that 855 was that Nature Safe was about $30 a pound, actual pound of nitrogen. That's a lot of money. And so I need something that's around $3 a pound would be great.
Natasha is suggesting you go out and collect some sea algae. I don't know if she meant collected, but when I was in New England, we would harvest seaweed off the beach to use. You'd have to worry about arsenic and some other micro elements in there. But hey, Lester, there was another question going back to pests and weeds. One of the farmers, Rebecca Fox, asked, "Have you tried any cover crops or companion planting in your fields?"
Yes. And so, it probably gives some benefit, but I don't see a lot. However, I have a good friend, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he has tried putting breakfast radishes along with his tomatoes, and he says it stops the stink bugs. Now, I don't never tried it, but I'm going to try it. And so I bought that breakfast radish. And so I'm sure that there's an opportunity there, but I'm missing it. So when you come up with something that works, I appreciate if you keep me up on it. And so just to get an idea, I think it's a great way to make money farming. If you like it, you got to really love it because you spend so much time out here. But so, my family's been kind of centered around this for many, many years because we would harvest the citrus, we would, pack it, we would load it on the truck, and we deliver to restaurants, and then we go to outdoor markets and we sell them at the outdoor markets. And, if you like that, and I love it, you get to meet the customers right there that you're growing for. So you meet the people you're working for, and you're trying to bring them the best quality produce you can. And that's fun. I really like doing that. That's been really profitable for us. I would recommend to all organic people go to those outdoor markets, and there's plenty of them around, and you'll establish yourself, and you'll have customers. But only bring the best quality. If it's not good quality, throw it away. Put it back in the ground. Drop it. We picking citrus. If we can't sell it and it's not premium, we leave it right there in the orchard. And so, quality is a big deal. People want the best of quality. Just because you call it organic, it can't look like junk. So believe me, I've done that already. I'm just telling you one of my mistakes. Don't follow me.
Lester, the Connie says thank you for letting us inside the greenhouse. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Okay.
And then I just wonder, is there anything else like looking back that you would have done differently that an organic farmer, if they knew it now from you, could avoid some pitfalls along the way?
That's why I hope to have this communication established because I have made so many mistakes on the phone. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we all
A
do.
million mistakes, but I'm always trying to improve. I have a few research projects going on right now, looking for ways to improve, and always looking for a better chemical. I have my own opinions. And I come from the chemistry world. I've spent most of my life going to work every day in chemistry and studied chemistry for 35 years. And so really, man, I haven't in the last 7 years. I'm retired. Supposed to be. I work 6 days a week. And so anyway, but I can tell you that you always have to keep researching. Man, there's a lot of researching in this farm business because when I think I've got one situation solved, something else always comes up. And so I'm always looking for something different. Have I made a lot of mistakes? Man, I made more mistakes than you can shake it. Man, I tell you, one of the things I did in citrus years ago when I first planted my orchard was I couldn't come up with a good weed control without using Roundup. And that's the only thing that they really recommended. Well, other herbicides, pre-emergence, post-emergence. And so I bought a tiller and I said, well, I'm gonna just try to till the orchard. And so I spoke to the research people on that, and they said, look, we don't know if that's a good idea or not. We just don't know. And so I said, okay, well, I'm not right now. I don't have anything else. Let me just try it. So I got a tiller, offset tiller, and I slid it under the tree. Man, that worked great. And so, and the trees liked it. And so I'm not saying it's perfect, but it definitely, it looked like no grass gets immune to that tiller. And so I just setting it to where it only took off that top inch off, and is a you have to get it set right. But that worked out really good, and it does work. Nowadays, so in citrus, they're putting landscape fabric down because they're getting the trees to grow even faster, much faster with landscape fabric. And so, the organic people don't allow us to leave that plastic down. We have to take it up. So you have to prove that you're taking it up. And so I already farm with plastic, but now I'm trying to figure out a way of how I'm going to put that plastic down in my orchard. And I don't want to make a mistake. And so I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but I definitely want to go that way. And so our county agent is also is our citrus specialist for Louisiana, and she recommends that plastic also. So
Just
I'm
got to be
sure.
careful about the microplastics that shear off it. If you don't replace it super often, when you get a lot of sun, it just breaks that stuff apart. I'm a burlap lover, man. I'm old school. But it doesn't work perfect. But
Oh, you're right. You're right. That plastic does break down, and so but such as that they won't let it leave it there. And the plastic that I'm talking about is a landscape fabric.
sure.
So that landscape fabric, pretty durable. It's going to stay together, but you're right, it's not going to last forever. But I just want to grow it till I get the trees up, and I'll put it down. I'm thinking about stapling down on both sides of the tree, a layer of 330-foot roll. Just go down on each side, staple it down, leave it down for a few months, and then pull it back up. Once a year, pull it up. I have to be able to prove that I pull it up, or they're not going to allow me to use it. And so before I do it, though, I'm going to call my certifier up and say, hey, is this okay? I do that all the time. And so I just tried to I have a problem with ants. Always trying to make a solution that's going to work for ants. Man, that's tough. And those guys, I don't know, they're rough, especially down in Louisiana. I
Sure.
tried to get that just one bite. And so Fertilome makes that. Come and get it. I'm sorry. Come and get it by Fertilome. And so one time that used to be allowed because it had an Armory certification on it many years ago, but now they don't. And so I tried to get that on my certification again, and he said, no, can't do it. And I need to have that Armory certificate. And I said, okay, no problem. I won't use it. And so, and I thought that stuff worked pretty good. And it's just ground up corn with a spinosad in it, but it does work. So I'm trying to make my own. No, so you can buy spinosids that are organic from many different sources and different ways. And I'm just trying to make my own. But somebody comes up with an idea, I could sure use the help on that.
Yeah,
Well, who's that? Go ahead, please.
Jesse. Yeah. Uh, there used to be a biodegradable paper. I remember using it about 8 years ago. I can't find it anymore. Is that still around? Because there was a armory uh row cover that was paper that would biodegrade, and I can't find it anymore.
Also, you fellas, you can buy papers that are not necessarily from an organic source if you work with your supplier on it, and you can so like if you can't find it, you can use um, commercially available unbleached papers. So you should
Okay.
look into that. Talk to your certifier about that.
Hmm, okay.
So who's that speaking?
That's Sebastian. Also,
No,
fellas,
asking the
yep.
fella that was speaking, who was that?
Oh, that was Jesse Bowie.
Oh, hey, Mr. Jesse, how are
You
you?
know, you know what? I'm just realizing that was you all of this time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, let me just tell you guys something. So Jesse and I are friends, and Jesse comes from the chemistry world. He's a chemist his whole life. And so both of us are in organic farming. Isn't that amazing? So we're friends, and he's a little ways from me. And matter of fact, Mr. Jesse, I'll be calling you soon because I got to switch certifiers, baby.
Okay.
So
Okay.
expensive now. You know, I have a wonderful certified, but it's just so expensive. And but anyway, Mr. Jesse, man, great to
Okay.
hear from you. How's your turmeric doing?
Pretty good. Well, I'm getting started with a new crop, so I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Amen. Praise God. Glad to hear that, man. So you can see, hey, Mr. Jesse, you can put in. So look, I think I'll make a good bit of money with these guys,
Okay.
and so I think it'll be equivalent to citrus. And so, because if you go to a market with something like peaches and you are certified organic and you post that, I think you're gonna do well on your sales. And if you take your
Yep.
time and pick them when they're just getting a little soft and they're so sweet, it's not like something you can get out the store. You have something that's really premium. Oh, look, I think you'll have a line out there so long you won't believe it. And
Hey,
so,
fellas, I'm gonna have to ask you two to get together in a barbecue because what we've done is we've used up the whole entire hour here. So,
oh,
um,
I didn't realize. I'm sorry. Hey, Mr.
that's
Jess, God bless you.
Yeah.
Good to hear from you.
Okay. I'll holler at you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Sebastian. I had fun, and I hope I get to communicate with a lot of these listeners and we can share ideas.
yeah, Lester. If you have anything last you want to say, you can do that. I just want to thank everybody for coming. This was an awesome group to have today.
Oh, I had a lot of fun. Thank y'all for letting me join y'all.
Of course.
Lester, thank you again so much. From the FOG team, we really appreciate you and your time. And really want to thank everyone who joined us today. We hope that these virtual sessions are helpful for you all and bring you a little bit closer together with your fellow farmers. As Lester said, if you're interested in connecting with him, please reach out to us. You can reach out to Sebastian. You can also reach out to the SE Top at foginfo.org email. Again, we're going to be probably doing one more of these in the next few months, and we'll send out an update to everybody with those dates as soon as possible. And with that, we'll also be sending a recording out to everyone to refer back to. So thank you so much, Lester. We really appreciate you and your time.
Oh, thank y'all, and God bless y'all. Bye bye now.